What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be going over my picks and some bets for tomorrow's upcoming fight night between Sean Strickland and Fluffy Hernandez. So, kicking off the card, we've got Carly Judas versus Juliana Miller. Judas looked dominant at UFC 318 last year. People call her the female Dustin Poirier, and I see it. I did notice a bit of an odd line shift between Wednesday till now. She went from being minus 1,000 favorite to right now she's sitting at about minus 800, which I still think is a little blown out of proportion. She's really good, obviously. I am going to pick her to win, but for a fighter that has 7 fights and 2 of those are losses, I think that she should be sitting somewhere closer to the minus 350 to minus 500 range. Juliana Miller has not looked too hot. I mean, they both have similar records, but Miller has not looked great in any of her fights, even her last one. I'm taking Carly Judas. I think that round 1 or 2 knockout at plus odds is maybe the best bet, but I also could see her winning decision. So safe pick for this fight would be Judas by KO or decision double chance. But I wouldn't touch this fight just because, minus 800 for an early prelim women's fight. I can't rock with that. And the next fight, Jordan Levitt versus Yadier Del Valle. I'm going with Yadier here. Jordan Levitt he's solid. He's a good striker. I think he's also moving down from lightweight to featherweight for this fight. But I just think Yadier is better everywhere. He's a little bit better grappler, and I think he's much better on the feet. Levitt's not particularly known for his explosiveness, and from what I've seen from Del Valle, he kind of is. He's very, very, very good grappler. I do not think that he will submit Jordan Levitt like most people have been picking. Levitt, you see him, he has only lost by submission to 2 of the best grapplers from a weight class above, those being Chase Hooper and Patty Pimblett. I think that Del Valle will win by knockout or decision. My pick for this fight, if I was going to bet on it, I would just take Yadier by money line and parlay it with some other picks on this card. The next fight, we've got Phil Rowe versus John Paul. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. I don't know. Lebesniani. Anyways, I'm taking John Paul here. He looked great on the Contender Series with that nice little throws that rear straight and then follows it up with a head kick. Learned it courtesy of Rob Whittaker. Phil Rowe has not looked great in any of his last fights. He was on a little bit of a losing streak and beat Ange Lusa, who was winning almost the entire fight up until that point. He had 2 rounds banked pretty much. And then he just recently lost to Korean Tyson, and he got manhandled essentially for 3 rounds straight. So I'm taking John Paul. I think the odds are actually kind of closer than they should be. But yeah, I'm taking John Paul. He looked way too good in Contender Series for me to not rock with him. Obviously, it's his UFC debut, so take it with a grain of salt. But I think that John Paul should win this somewhat easily. In the next fight, we got Ramiz Brahimaj versus Punahele Soriano. I am going with Soriano here. He recently switched weight classes. He was a middleweight. Now he is a welterweight at 170. And I haven't been too impressed by any of Brahimaj's performance. Besides his last one, he did look good in his last fight, but it was against a lesser opponent than Punahele. So I think that Punahele will get this one done. Next fight, we got Jocelyn Edwards versus Nora Cornole. These two have already fought, and it was a pretty boring fight. It wasn't super close. Cornole, I thought, obviously won that fight, but she is significantly older. She's a lot slower now. And Edwards since that fight, has gotten exponentially better. Her last loss, I believe, was against Eileen Perez, who's ranked. And Edwards, they call her the female Leon, and I see it. She's looked, pretty good her past couple fights. So I'm taking Jocelyn Edwards by KO or decision. Next fight, Alden Correa versus Luis Gurule. Gurule is on a 2-fight losing skid. Correa has looked good in his past couple fights. I think this is pretty cut and dry. Alden Correa. Next one, we got Ode Osborne versus Alibi Idris. I personally am very excited for this fight. Idris is coming from the Ultimate Fighter finale. He lost to Joseph Morales, but he still got signed, picked up to the UFC. He's one of a few fighters from this past season of the Ultimate Fighter that lost and still got picked up. I think Emmanuel Rodriguez is another flyweight that got picked up after losing. Ode Osborne, you look at his record and you're like, 13-9, this guy probably shouldn't be in the UFC. You look at his UFC record, he's got more losses than wins. And then you look at some of the guys he's lost to. Lost to Lazy Boy Rodriguez, who's, obviously one of the better fighters in the division. And then steps in on short notice against Steve Erceg, who's top 15, contended for a title, gave Pantoja maybe his closest fight to date. And he's also lost to Manel Kape, who is one of the best fighters in the division as well. I was very impressed with his most recent performance against Steve Erceg. Ode Osborne, he looked phenomenal against Steve Erceg. Even though he did lose the fight, he looks so explosive in the first 2 rounds. I think that he can, make something happen in the first 2 rounds just because of his speed advantage. I think that he will be significantly faster than Alibi Idris. Alibi, he has 11 fights, 1 loss. He most recently lost to Joseph Morales on the finale of The Ultimate Fighter, and he has not really faced great competition. The only competition he really has faced was Joseph Morales, a guy who had been in the UFC and got cut and then ended up on The Ultimate Fighter. I wasn't too surprised that Morales beat him. I picked Morales to win just because Idris hasn't fought anyone. If he could prove me wrong here and beat Ode Osborne, because obviously Morales has looked a lot better on the second UFC stint, beating Idris and then winning another fight by submission. But I'm taking Ode Osborne here. I think he's plus money. I think that's a good pick. Next fight, we got Carlos Leal versus Chidi Njokuani. I'm going with Carlos here. Chidi did not look good in his last outing against Jake Matthews. I believe he got submitted in damn near under a minute. Carlos, he got knocked out by Muslim Salikov, but he has much better wins than Chidi, and he was a big favorite going into the Salikov fight. He just got caught. It happens, So I'm going with Carlos Leal here. I think that this could be under 1.5 rounds. I'm guessing that's, under 1.5 rounds is a pretty big favorite, minus money, I'm assuming. But I would just take Leal straight up money line here and parlay it with a few other picks. Going into the main card, we have, kicking it off, we've got Zach Reese and Michel Pereira. Both of these guys are kind of known for first-round finishes. I think that this will be fireworks off the get-go. Pereira has had some tough losses, especially that fluffy loss that was bad. Zach Reese, he beat McVeigh, and I was not impressed. I would have liked to see a lot more output from him. He just kind of looked, I don't want to say timid. He didn't look timid. He did a lot of damage, but he didn't look as aggressive as I would have liked. I would have liked to see him try to finish the fight a little more. I think that Pereira will come out swinging. Reese will kind of be on his back foot a little bit. And then I think Pereira will win the first, round. He might drop the second or third, but I think he'll win a decision or get an early knockout. Next fight, we have Jacoby Smith versus Josiah Harrell. This is the fight that I'm looking forward to on this card. I'm very excited for this one. Both undefeated guys. Smith, obviously, very, very, very high-level wrestler coming from, I believe, Oklahoma State. An elite wrestler at Oklahoma State. And undefeated, just beat Nico Price by submission. However, in that fight, outside of the first round, he looked not great. He gassed out pretty hard. He admitted it. All of the fans could see it. Harrell is stepping up on short notice, coming up from LFA. He is also undefeated. These two have very, very different styles, I've noticed just watching their fights. Smith will come out. He kind of wants to get it done early. Most of his fights, he's got a TKO by ground and pound or a submission of some sort. He wants to take you down early and just kind of manhandle you. Harrell, his last fight in the LFA, he got taken down early multiple times in the first round. And then he came out and dominated the second and then got a win in the third by finish. So there is a path to victory here for Harrell. That being said, I'm obviously going to pick Jacoby Smith. I think that he's the better fighter. He's had a full training camp. He's used to fighting in the UFC. He's fought high-level competition. Harrell is stepping up short notice. He's got pretty much every disadvantage. I will be looking forward to him getting an actual fight in the UFC where he can train, full training camp against an opponent that he knows about, months in advance. If Harrell can weather the storm from Smith early and Smith gasses out, like it only took him about 3 minutes in his fight against Nico Price for him to gas out. So if Harrell can weather the storm, he can, come back and maybe get a late finish or even a decision if he can take the second and third round. But my pick will be Jacoby Smith. I'm going to take him by decision because I think that Josiah Harrell is very, very durable. Next fight, Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delija. Spivak, he's only 31, which is kind of surprising, but he's been in the UFC for a while, and he's taken a lot of damage. So for that reason, I am taking Delija. I think this is kind of a setup for Delija to get, a top 10 win. I hate to say it, he probably should have won his last fight against Waldo Cortez Acosta. He knocked him out, landed some good strikes. I understand that there was an eye poke, but I hate to be that guy, but if it was on the street, it's a knockout for Delija, right? Spivak, he took some horrendous damage against Jailton Almeida specifically. And for that reason, I am going to take Ante Delija. I think that Delija will get either early KO from, when he just has all the energy. Like, these guys are both heavyweights. They lose their speed and their explosiveness as the fight goes on. So I'm looking at Delija to get either a early first-round KO or a decision victory. So I would pair I'd put straight up money on first-round KO for Ante Delija, and then I would put money on Delija by decision because I think both of those are at plus money right now. Next, we got Dan Ige and Milky Costa. I am taking Milky Costa. I've been high on Milky Costa for a while now. Dan Ige has not looked phenomenal in his past couple performances. People say that he looks like he's just trying to spar out there, which I kind of agree with. I see it. It's not like he's trying to fight his way to a decision victory instead of finish the guy. Milky Costa will go out there and try to finish Dan Ige. I wish that he was not quite this big of a favorite, but I am still going to rock with Milky Costa. Next fight, we got Uros Medic versus Jeff Neal. And Medic is a guy that's known for his finishing ability. I think that all of his wins come from finish. He might have one decision in there, but I'm pretty sure he has a 100% finish rate. And Jeff Neal is a pretty big favorite considering he just came off the most brutal knockout loss of his career against Carlos Prates. Carlos hit him with that spinning elbow, and it looked like Jeff Neal was dead on the octagon floor. It was tough to watch, honestly, considering I kind of like Jeff Neal. I do like the under on this fight. I'm just going to say I think that Jeff Neal is a better fighter, so I will pick him, but I would not be surprised at all. I think that his chin is likely gone after that. You can't take that much damage from one strike and expect to be the same fighter as you were before. So I would not be surprised at all if Uros Medic could come out and knock him out. That being said, I think that Medic has about 3 minutes to knock out Jeff Neal. I don't think he's going to walk Jeff Neal down and knock him out. I think that Neal has better footwork and better reads. So if Medic can land early when he's explosive and has more power, he can get it done. But I would say it's more likely that he does not land the strike than that he does land the strike. So I'm going to take Jeff Neal by decision. In In the main event, we got Sean Strickland versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. In this fight, I'm going to pick the underdog here. Money line, Sean Strickland. He's fought better people. He's only lost to the elite in the division. Anthony Hernandez has not even fought anyone elite in the division. His best win, realistically, is Roman Dolidze. And I love Roman Dolidze, but he isn't. I would not say that he's a top 15 fighter in the middleweight division right now. So I think that Fluffy, he does have a path to victory because Strickland's going to come out and feint the teeps and throw a lot of teeps. If Fluffy can get, just attached to one of those legs or blast double off of a feinted teep, he can make things tough for Sean Strickland. But if Strickland does what he wants to do, he's going to put Fluffy on his back foot. He's going to just hide behind that Philly shell and walk Fluffy down for 5 rounds. He's done that to some of the most elite strikers in the division, and he is a very underrated grappler. If Sean Strickland walked down Izzy, he walked down Nasruddin Imavov. So I think that him as a huge underdog is, good money. It's a decent way to make bread. I think that he should be closer to plus 150 or maybe even a pick'em. Fluffy, how is he going to fight if he is not the one pressuring? If he's on his back foot, how is his cardio going to hold up? Everyone talks about how good Fluffy's cardio is, but we very rarely see him walking backwards 4 or 5 rounds. Is it going to last? Is he going to be able to get Strickland to the ground? I think that there's a lot of stuff that plays a factor into this. That being said, Sean Strickland had a brutal weight cut. He looked terrible on the scale. He got up to about 230 pounds, I believe, in when he was not in camp. So out of camp, Sean Strickland was weighing about 230 pounds. I think that will play a factor into this. Will his cardio hold up? He's fought 5 rounds before. He's known for sparring, 15 rounds straight in his gym at Extreme Couture. So I could see his cardio not being a problem, and I could see Fluffy kind of gassing out, which is not common for him. I just think that Strickland is going to walk Fluffy down for 4 out of the 5 rounds. Fluffy might get 1 takedown. He will have to use that in land, ground, and pound or get a submission. For my bets for this card, my locks, I am going with Jacoby Smith over Josiah Harrell. And then I am going to go with Alden Correa over Luis Garule. For value picks, I would take Ode Osborne as an underdog, and I would parlay that with Milky Costa. And then I would take, as a separate parlay, I would take Ante Delija, and I would take Sean Strickland. So those are my picks and bets for the card. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you.